Hello everybody, and I wanted to do a review of the High Performance Group H-135 Airbus helicopter. This is a freeware project. You can download it on Flightsim.to. I know that previously I released a video where I was doing a microphone check and I was flying their payware H-145 and I mentioned this helicopter. A little bit about how I feel about this high performance group developers. They actually produce some really high quality products, and again, of course, I've modified the livery, so that's how I want it for my channel. And a little bit about myself. If you like what you see here, remember this is Derp your Hooves at youtube.com. Always feel free to like and subscribe if you see what you like. And sometimes I test products here, and sometimes I give you guys tutorials. So here we are in Los Angeles and LAX on the runway on the H-135 in one of my many derpicopters. And I just kind of want to show you again, this is 100% free aircraft. And it's got different modes. Right here, it's been a while since I flew it. We really should get off the runway. But it's been a while since I've flown it. And it does have all these different features, which I can show you. I just want to get off the runway. And we have ready for takeoff. So we're going to go ahead and hit ready for takeoff. It's got a nice little, what I like to refer to as a cheat. It sets the whole aircraft up for takeoff for you. And I'm flying it on advanced mode. We're just going to put the tablet away and take off and get off the runway, and then we can chit chat all we want. So let's go ahead and give it some throttle, a little more throttle, a little more throttle, gently apply some rudder pedals, and we have liftoff. So this helicopter is incredibly easy to fly. It's great for beginners and it's free. It's even good for advanced pilots. If you are looking to try helicopters in Microsoft Flight Simulator without having to download any third-party products, and again, I'm using a PC version here, this is a great helicopter. They have all kinds of patches and enhancements that you can add to it. Let's slow down a little bit. And again, this helicopter it's incredibly easy to fly, even in advanced mode. Unlike some of the other helicopters that are out there that are a little more squirrely. I'm not sure if the H-35 in real life is this easy to fly. Probably not. But again, like I said, if you want to explore helicopters in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, this is a great way to get started. I do have a flight stick and a throttle and some rudder pedals. So I'm not flying with a keyboard and a mouse, nor am I flying with a gamepad controller. However, this does have a Xbox setting. And again, I've noticed that ever since Sim Update 6, there's a slight skip, frame rate skip, when you're flying these helicopters. And I've said it once and I'll say it again, this computer that I'm using is more than able to handle Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, so it shouldn't be skipping frames. So I would imagine, let's answer the robot fake air traffic controller.
Los Angeles Tower Derp pony plane 777 frequency change.
So he'll stop calling in my ear, and see if I can find a helipad to land at. Because I'd like to show you just how easy it is to land this helicopter. And while we're doing that, I can go ahead and turn off the landing light because I don't want it on. It's daytime, we don't need it. So again, this is my own livery, and I just, or paint job, and I just made it really common and simple for the theme of the channel. There are all kinds of liveries that the aircraft comes with that are nicer, and I'm sure you'll probably like them a little more than my own personal one. And there are plenty of creators that have released these free liveries for your aircraft, and you just have to drop them in your community folder for Microsoft Simulator 2020. So here we're going to head down towards downtown LA because there's plenty of helipads for us to land on. And as we fly, you can see that I don't even really have my, well, you can't see, but I don't even really have my feet on the rudder pedals. Oh, there's our co-pilot. I still haven't figured out how to get rid of him. It seems that he comes in the payware file, or the freeware file, sorry, and let's not get them confused. It's kind of nice not to have him in there, but, because I can get a clear view out the window without him there. I'm just not going to take the time to remove him. And as we're coming in, I want to actually change the view here on our display. Acknowledge we turn the light off. You got to forgive me here that I really am flying so many different types of aircraft all the time that this is not one that I fly too often anymore. I did fall in love with it right away. And there were some issues, and it wasn't necessarily with the high performance group, but it was Microsoft had released a Sim Update 5 and a Sim Update 6, and both of them caused major problems with a majority of the aircraft. This one included, and one of the problems that this one had after Sim Update 5 is there was a slight shaking from left to right, and it was noticeable. Really made you not want to fly the aircraft, but they had fixed it.
6720 and 161 and 12. Caution the generic landing runway 7 right. Cleared to land runway 7 left.
And then not too soon after, they released Sim Update 6, and the shaking got incredibly worse. So if you actually have shaking on it, there are updates for this helicopter on Discord. You can access that and download the latest version, and it will shake less like this. There is again a small glitch that pops up every now and then, but it's much better than the violent shaking that was like what I would imagine having an epileptic fit would be. So they did fix it. And again, I mean, like I said, this is a Freeware aircraft, a Freeware helicopter. They put a lot of attention to detail into it. I'm really impressed with it. If you like this one, you might want to think about buying the H-135. I believe it's only $45 US currency. Not sure how that translates into other countries' currency, but it's actually worth the $45. It has features that the Freeware H-135 doesn't come with standard, like there are no working windshield wipers so far on this model. And you don't really need them, but it's a nice little feature to have for realism. Yep, there's that skip again. And the skip necessarily isn't in the simulator itself, it's probably something in translation with the helicopter in the simulator. Not sure what that noise is. Like there's rain. Or maybe there's rain in Los Angeles today. Or maybe there's rats in the engine. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna try and land on something a little difficult. And yes, I know that it looks kind of like Los Angeles has had some kind of like zombie apocalypse, or I don't know, some kind of horrible weapon was unleashed and it distorted all the buildings, and that's the grammetry, whatever you call it. And unfortunately, you have to have it turned on to be able to land on these helipads that come in the standard scenery of the game. If you don't turn them on, I found out you just fall right through the building and tumble to the ground. So, I guess there's a small sacrifice for wanting to fly helicopters in this simulator, and that would be dealing with the fact that you're using the big imagery. And let's see if I can do this without killing us today. Nice and slow. And down. Look at that. That was actually a pretty good landing. And let's zoom out, and we're dead center. So, again, this helicopter's, it's incredibly easy to land. It does take some practice to be able to do that. I don't do this very often. But as you can see, I pretty much effortlessly landed here on the helipad 12 on the US Bank building in downtown LA. We took off from LAX and we landed here. And we have our nice view of Los Angeles, and I can hop from building to building if I want. You know, kind of makes it a little fun. There are some oil rigs and stuff that you can download in this game, and not all of them have landable helipads. So, you know, when you're flying these helicopters, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, sometimes it's an adventure to see what you can land on and what you can't. You see as I zoom down, we go into the building. And this is what I want to talk about, photogrammetry, which is outside of the aircraft itself. This has to do with the game. If you turn off the photogrammetry, layers and layers of this building disappear. There's nothing to land on. So if you guys are flying helicopters and you're pulling your hair out and saying, how come there's no helipads, but I hate the photogrammetry, well, unfortunately you have to turn it on if you want to land on the default helipads that are here in any city or any town. Los Angeles seems to have a lot of them. I've noticed that Tokyo has some too. You got to kind of hunt around and look for them. And you can land on them day or night. That's why this has landing lights. And if I set this up right, I can change it to nighttime. And let's change it from live weather. There's the afternoon. And let's change it to nighttime. And you can see here we are at night. Turn off close the window if you can even see that in the recording. And now it's nighttime. And if I want to turn on the landing light, I can turn on the landing light. Wow, that's bright. But you see, I can use it to land on the helipad at night. And I can change my view. Aha! So that's what the rats in the engine were. It is sprinkling today in downtown Los Angeles. We just couldn't see it during the day. So here we are. We're parked on the helipad, and what I'm going to do to make it a little more quiet, I'm going to show you another kind of... I like to refer to them as cheats. They're not really cheats, but it makes it easier for you to fly the aircraft. We have ready for takeoff and cold and dark. So obviously you saw me use the ready for takeoff and the cold and dark, and we even have shut down engines. That's a new feature in this one. So I just want to shut down the engines, and it turns off the light. I can go into aircraft configuration for the free mode, and you can see that I have installed, it says doors, baggage, all this stuff, and you can actually slowly, let's go back to daytime so you can see this. Let's just go back to live time and weather. And yes, I know it's raining in LA. Now, why wouldn't you do this during a sunny day? Well, I like to use live weather. It makes things a little more of a challenge. So I have no power, and I really can't demonstrate that if there's windshield wipers on this, I still haven't been able to find how to activate them. So the rain just kind of rolls off the windshield. So it's not a big deal. But again, here we go. Let's zoom out. We're looking at the outside of the helicopter with all the doors on it. And there's our co-pilot. He never leaves. Everything's shut down, but I want to go ahead and I can open the door, one door at a time if I click on it on the inside. And you can do the same thing in the back seat. Let's just adjust our position and go sit down in the back and say, hey, oh, by the way, we could say we're Bob today. And Bob, as I was saying, with the H-135, you can go in the back. And I want my mouse back. Okay, Microsoft, I want my mouse back. There's my mouse. And I should be able to click on the door to get out, but for whatever reason I can't. So I can actually open the doors in the back. And in this helicopter, you can remove the doors. So it says installed doors. Well, I just took care of all of the doors on the aircraft, and you can go ahead and open it up. And now you can see that while I'm inside it, the H-135 has no doors. I've used it in the past to record flights of other people because with the doors installed, as you can see, you've got bars in the way. So sometimes I'll take them off. You can also, with them installed, you can open them and close them from the inside. That's what I didn't do. It's all on the control panel there. So you can open the back door, and we can hope that Bob gets his butt in here today and gets his TPS reports filed, because management's getting really angry at Bob for not taking care of his job. So again, we sent the helicopter to come get Bob. I think I don't know what he's doing at the bank, but it's definitely not his job. All right, so here we are, and again, this is the H-135 Airbus from High Performance Group. You can download it on Flightsim.to as a free package and install it. It's, of course, virus-free, as all of their downloads are. Again, for Freeware aircraft, you really can't get much better than this. There are other Freeware helicopters, and I'm not going to say that they're not good. There is one in particular that I do like, and I've already kind of done a review on that one. It just flies a little differently, and it requires you to use a third-party software called MSFS. I'll cover that in another video on how to use all that. And that helicopter itself is a little more floaty than this one. It's not as easy to take off and land. So I do recommend, if you've never flown helicopters ever in a simulator, this is a great starter aircraft. Really easy to fly. You just got to have patience with it. And again, this is my review of the High Performance Group H-135 Airbus helicopter. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you around in the sky.